Okay, we're in the studio again, Tracy and I, and this is the third and final lesson in our mentor training series. So Tracy, so far we've talked about why everyone watching should be a disciple maker. And then we've also talked about in the last video how to do it with the tools at PursueGOD.org. So in this last lesson, we're going to get into what a mentor is making.
Okay.
Right? What's the finished product, right?
Yes.
What is a finished product supposed to look like? Do we
Yes.
have any kind of picture that represents that? Any kind of image that might represent that?
Yes, I think this image right here,
Yeah,
actually.
that's
We
right.
we want to produce disciple makers.
Right.
Disciples who go and make more disciples.
Right. We're not trying to produce consumers.
Right.
Right. We're not trying to just invest in people because we care about them so that they could just, lavish, just love how we love them, right? And just consume off of us for the rest of their life. Right? That's not what discipleship is. Neither is discipleship taking a smart Christian and making that Christian smarter. Right? Disciple making, the end goal is to create this.
Yes.
So let's go through each of these. And again, hopefully you've taken foundation. So this is in essence a recap of foundations, but really from the perspective of this is what you're trying to create. You're trying to reproduce. You have become this, and you're trying to reproduce this in the next person. Right? We did this with our kids.
Yeah.
We've done this with the dozens of people that we personally mentor. And again, I encourage you to really get this. Because otherwise I think your mentoring is aimless. Right? Is purposeless.
Yeah, you need to make sure you're thinking in terms of movement.
Right.
That it isn't just a stagnant thing that I just mentor one person for 9 years.
That's right.
And we've just grown that's a friendship.
Yeah.
Mentoring, there is a movement to it and a goal at the end of it to produce more people that are doing this.
And before you say that does not sound biblical, just remember that the very first thing Jesus said to his disciples is, I'm going to make you fishers of men. So he had this in mind. Yeah. This is a very biblical thing, right? Is to have a goal in mind when you're investing in someone. Right. And the goal is to get them to invest in someone, right? So the first thing is, step number one, is to make sure that you help them to trust Jesus, right? Obviously, this is for somebody who maybe is far from God, who isn't a Christian yet. So this is someone that you're going to turn into a disciple.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, this is a person that doesn't know Jesus yet, maybe doesn't understand his forgiveness, doesn't understand his grace, and you introduce them to Jesus and they start on their journey. Right.
Yeah, and by the way, I encourage you, don't make the assumption that just because you're mentoring someone that you met at church, that means that they're a Christian. They might not be. Right. Maybe they've never personally trusted in Jesus, and you would have the privilege of helping them to do that.
Well, and that's where the key of what we said in our first video is that you're speaking truth and loving. It's from a relationship.
Right.
If you care about someone, you're listening to their story, you're listening to the things they talk about, and you're asking them questions about who they are, you're gonna at some point be able to ascertain, do they understand who Jesus is and what he's done?
That's right.
And have they really made that confession of faith?
And a sermon can't do that.
Right.
I can't get that sense when I'm preaching a sermon.
Well, in fact, we've met many people.
Right.
Who have been to our church for many years where the gospel is presented every week and they still don't know.
And we wish they had a shepherd.
Correct.
Right? Which is how Jesus felt in Matthew 9. Second thing, then the second step then is we want to help them to honor God. Just in brief, what does that mean to help someone honor God?
So that's just learning what it means, that now that I'm a Christian, what does it mean to honor him?
Yeah.
What does it mean in how I spend my money, how I spend my time, entertainment, parenting, marriage, all of it.
It's pretty sad that Christians have as high of a divorce rate as non-Christians just about. It shouldn't be that way. If we had mentors all over the place, marriage mentors in our churches, then I think that that couples would have help from another couple, because marriage is hard. So you can help someone honor God in their marriage, in their finances, in their personal life if someone has an addiction.
Yeah, relationships, forgiveness, bitterness, all sorts of stuff.
Right. And again, all of that stuff is covered in our library. We've got topics on all that stuff. Right? Okay. So that's not it, though. A lot of people would say that's discipleship.
This is where people stop.
Is getting Christians to be better Christians, right? But that's not true. This third thing, right? What's the third thing?
So we mature by helping people.
Yeah.
This point of then go and help somebody else.
Right.
Yes.
And remember, this is the ultimate end of biblical disciple making. You know that you have done your job. I want you to hear this out, Christians. You know that you have done your job if you help that person become a mentor.
Right.
Take them through mentor training. Help them to develop their mentoring lists. Help them to think through, who can I really invest in? Who can I care about and invest in, and help them go full circle? And this is what Jesus envisioned all along in the church. He wanted us to all be doing this, and this is what a movement is.
Right.
Christianity was never supposed to be an institutional religion that gets kind of stuck and stagnant.
Right.
He wants it to be a movement where we all are not consumers, just takers, but we're all givers. We're all disciple makers.
Well, and think about what a difference this world will be if Christians understand that their job is to help people in this.
Yeah.
And in your sphere of influence, at work, in your neighborhood, amongst your friends, that the church can't reach those people, but you can. And be the outreach of your local church to reach those people. But this is our mission as Christians, is for ourselves to be going through this circle and getting other people to go through it.
Yeah. Let me just read this verse, 2 Timothy 2:2. It says, "You have heard me teach things that have been confirmed by many reliable witnesses. Now teach these truths to other trustworthy people who will be able to pass them on to others." This is Paul talking to Timothy. And when I count out 4 generations of disciple makers. He's saying, I've invested in you, you invest in someone else, so that they will invest in someone else, and the thing just keeps going full circle.
Right.
So disciple making, mentoring, Christian biblical mentoring, is all about investing in someone one topic at a time until you release them after they've gone full circle to invest in someone else one topic at a time, where we all care about people enough to invest in them. This is what Jesus had in mind. This is what mentoring is. And I just want to encourage you, start mentoring. Go back to the last lesson on the how. Make sure you start working your mentor lists. Keep the goal in mind. Keep the end in mind. You can do it. That's what the tools are all about. Now, for more tips on mentoring, check out our mentoring section in the library, or go to our mentoring YouTube channel, subscribe to that channel, where we'll give you a new tip every week on mentoring. We'll share examples and stories. So we hope that you'll do this. Join us in this movement of helping people pursue God.